All right, let's take a look at a few questions from the lesson 7 problem set from module 3. So this lesson is all about verifying solutions to an equation. So we haven't really started solving them, like finding the solutions on our own quite yet, but what we can do when given an equation and a possible solution, we can verify or check whether or not that number is a solution to the equation. The way we do that is we substitute a given value in for the variables on both sides of the equation. We evaluate those expressions separately, whatever's on the left side of the equation and whatever's on the right side of the equation. And if they come out to the same value, then that makes the equation true. Therefore, that given value was a solution. If they don't come out to the same on both sides, then we say it's not a solution. It made the equation untrue. So let's do one from question A here. I'll do 1B because it has a fraction, so that's probably the hardest one for you. So let's try that one. I'm going to do it on a separate paper so I have more room to work. So this is question 1B. And the equation they give us is 9m minus 19 equals 3m plus 1. And they want us to check or verify whether or not m equals 10/3. So what we got to do is we got to substitute this 10/3 in for m here, and then we'll evaluate this expression on this on the left side of the equation, and then we'll substitute 10/3 for this m here. We'll evaluate this right side of the expression of the equation, and then check to see if we got the same value on both sides. I'm going to do the left side first, so maybe I'll label that as left side. 9 times 10/3, so there's my substituting 10/3 for m, minus 19. Well, I'm going to do some fraction multiplication here. I'm going to write that. Sometimes when I move to a new step in evaluating or solving an equation or something, I write an arrow. I'm going to do this as 9 over 1 times 10 over 3, and then I'll subtract 19. And so next step, 9 times 10 is 90, 1 times 3 is 3. So this is 90 over 3 minus 19. Now I'm going to move all the way down to the next line, and I'm going to simplify this fraction. 90 divided by 3, that's just 30. So 30 minus 19, that's 11. So that's my value of the left expression when m equals 10/3. And so now we insert that same, I should say substitute. We substitute this same 10/3 for this m here, and we're looking to see whether or not we get 11. If we get 11, it's a solution. If we get anything other than 11, it is not a solution. So I'll label this as right side. And we will write 3 times 10/3 plus 1. Well, I'll do this as 3 over 1 times 10 over 3. And if you know some stuff about canceling when you're doing fractional multiplication and you know a faster, better way to do this multiplication than I'm doing, please go ahead and use it. I'm just using the most basic techniques right now. And then we want to add 1. So this equals 30 over 3 plus 1. And 30 over 3, that's equal to 10. So I'll go down to this next line. 10 plus 1, which does indeed equal 11. So this equation is now true. This is 11 equals 11 when m equals 10/3. So we write, yes, 10/3 is a solution to the equation. I'm going to shorten that as EQ. Honestly, 10/3 is really the only solution to this equation, but some equations have more than one solution. Some equations have infinite number of solutions. So sometimes it's best to just say a solution and not make any further claims than that and just move on. All right, how about I do one from the question 2. I'll do part C of question 2. So it says, tell whether each number is a solution to the problem modeled by the following equation. Okay, so honestly, we don't even really need to know too much about this equation, but it says 5 more than negative 8 times a number. So 5 more than, that's 5 plus, negative 8 times a number is 29, equals 29. All right, what is the number? So we're trying to figure out what n is. Well, we're not going to solve for n. Instead, they've given us some values to check here. I'm going to check C for you. So I'm going to check whether or not n equals negative 3 for the equation 5 plus negative 8n equals 29. So luckily, the right side of this equation is already fully evaluated. It's just a single number. You can't really go any further than that. So we really just have to substitute this negative 3 for n on the left side, evaluate, see if it comes out to 29. So what we have is 5 plus negative 8 times negative 3. Well, this is a negative times a negative, so that's going to turn out positive. 8 times 3 is 24, so what we have is 5 plus 24, and that does indeed equal 29. I didn't mean to pick the one that would come out to be a solution, but I did, randomly. So it did equal 29, so we say yes. Negative 3 is a solution to the... I keep running out of space. I should start further to the left. So I'm going to shorten it again to EQ. All right, and let's do part of question 3. It says the sum of 3 consecutive integers is, make sure you can see this. I mean, you should have the book too, but the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 36. They want us to write an equation to model that situation and then check whether or not any of those 3 given values is the solution. So let me help you write this equation. So this is 3. Well, n is going to be the smallest integer is what it says. Okay, so let's define that variable over here. N equals smallest integer. And then it says the sum of 3 consecutive integers. Well, if n is an integer, then the next biggest integer would have to be n plus 1. And then the next biggest integer after that would have to be n plus 2. And if the sum of these is supposed to equal 36, well then that just means add them up. And that's supposed to equal 36. So there's our equation. And we can simplify this. We can write this expression on the left side of the equation in standard form. N plus n is 3n. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So what we really have here is 3n plus 3 equals 36. And now they just want you to check whether or not those 3 values down here for part C are the solutions. I'm not going to help you with that part because I've been helping you with verifying. And number 4, just looking at it, is more of the same. They've given you an equation, 1/2 m minus 4 equals 5. And the girl apparently has 3 guesses as to what the solution to that equation is, and you're going to verify whether or not any of those 3 guesses are correct. So I'm going to let you do that without any of my help.